Welcome back to Thetis, everyone. Just so we're all on the same page, to cut down on my editing time when I make the codex reading highlights, I have a note card that I'm going to be making noting timestamps on when I read codex entries. So that should help me with that in the long run. It just means there'll be a bit of a break while I write down the time. My mental health's kicking my ass again still. This is related to the phone call I had yesterday. It is what it is. I'll try and be as upbeat as I can, but I do ask forbearance and forgiveness. I'm streaming a bit earlier today because I have to finish a little earlier, but I still wanted to get at least 2 hours in. So it'll be about 2 hours and 10 minutes of the stream today. We'll see. I'd like to finish at 3 my time or as close to as possible. And I think that's all. Yeah, let's get started.
You must speak to Mother, then be gone. You have an army of Darkspawn to avoid, and 'twould be best to get an early start.
So I realised, rather than moving the webcam around, I just shrink it slightly. Try and keep an eye on the subtitles. Now you should be able to see all the subtitles and still have the biggest webcam possible. Reminder severe.
Yes, but I expect you shall be fine. The Darkspawn did nothing Mother could not heal.
I think I read all these, actually.
I do not know. She rarely tells me her plans. I will stay.
Okay. Let's head out to the Kokari Wilds.
See, here is your fellow Grey Warden. You worry too much, young man.
You're alive. I thought you were dead for sure.
Takes more than a few Darkspawn to kill me.
Duncan's dead. The Grey Wardens. Even the King. They're all dead. Oh, this doesn't seem real. If it weren't for Morrigan's mother, we'd be dead on top of that tower.
Do not talk about me as if I am not present, lad.
That's a good point.
I didn't mean... But what do we call you? You've never told us your name?
Names are pretty, but useless. The chastened folk call me Flemeth. I suppose it will do.
The Flemeth? From the legends? Daveth was right. You're the Witch of the Wilds, aren't you?
And what does that mean? I know a bit of magic, and it has served you both well, has it not?
Just a bit of magic. I doubt she'll give us a straight answer, but so why did you save us?
Well, we cannot have all the Grey Wardens dying at once, can we? Someone has to deal with these Darkspawn. It has always been the Grey Warden's duty to unite the lands against the Blights. Or did that change when I wasn't looking?
Of course not.
But we were fighting the Darkspawn. The King had nearly defeated them. Why would Loghain do this?
Now that is a good question. Men's hearts hold shadows darker than any tainted creature. Perhaps he believes the Blight is an army he can outmaneuver. Perhaps he does not see that the evil behind it is the true threat.
The Archdemon.
What is this archdemon exactly?
It is said that long ago, the Maker sent the old gods of the ancient Tevinter Imperium to slumber in prisons deep beneath the surface. An archdemon is an old god awakened and tainted by Darkspawn. Believe that or not, history says it's a fearsome and immortal thing, and only fools ignore history.
Will you help us fight this blight, Flemeth?
Me? I am just an old woman who lives in the wilds. I know nothing of blights and Darkspawn.
Well, whatever Loghain's insanity, he obviously thinks the Darkspawn are a minor threat. We must warn everyone this isn't the case.
And who will believe you? Unless you think to convince this Loghain of his mistake.
He just betrayed his own king. If Al Eamon knew what he did at Ostagar, he would be the first to call for his execution.
Al Eamon, the Earl of Redcliffe?
I suppose. Al Eamon wasn't at Ostagar. He still has all his men. And he was Kaelin's uncle. I know him. He's a good man, respected in the Landsmeet. Of course, we could go to Redcliffe and appeal to him for help.
Keep in mind that Loghain was also an honourable man.
The Owl would never do what Tairn Loghain did. I know him too well. I still don't know if Al Eamon's help would be enough. He can't defeat the Darkspawn horde by himself.
Surely there are other allies we could call on.
Of course! The treaties! Grey Wardens can demand aid from dwarves, elves, mages, and other places. They're obligated to help us during a blight.
I may be old, but dwarves, elves, mages, this Arl Eamon, and who knows what else. This sounds like an army to me.
So can we do this? Go to Redcliffe and these other places and build an army?
Why not? Isn't that what Grey Wardens do?
So you are set then, ready to be Grey Wardens.
I suppose you could offer any more help.
Now that you mention it, I do have one more thing to offer.
The stew is bubbling, Mother dear. Shall we have 2 guests for the eve, or none?
The Grey Wardens are leaving shortly, girl. And you will be joining them.
Yes, you will.
Such a shame. What?
You heard me, girl. The last time I looked, you had ears.
That's an excellent idea.
Have I no say in this?
You have been itching to get out of the wilds for years. Here is your chance. As for you, Wardens, consider this repayment for your lives.
Was this your idea all along?
Pardon me, but I had the impression that you two needed assistance, whatever the form.
Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but won't this add to our problems? Out of the wilds, she's an apostate.
If you do not wish help from us illegal mages, young man, perhaps I should have left you on that tower.
She makes a point.
Point taken.
Mother, this is not how I wanted this. I'm not even ready.
You must be ready. Alone, these two must unite for Eldon against the Darkspawn. They need you, Morrigan. Without you, they will surely fail, and all will perish under the Blight. Even I.
I understand.
And you, Wardens, do you understand? I give you that which I value above all in this world. I do this because you must succeed.
I understand.
Allow me to get my things, if you please.
Sure, why not? I'll allow it.
I am at your disposal, Grey Wardens. I suggest a village north of the wilds as our first destination. 'Tis not far, and you will find much you need there. Or, if you prefer, I shall simply be your silent guide. The choice is yours.
No, I prefer you speak your mind.
You will regret saying that.
Dear, sweet mother, you are so kind to cast me out like this. How fondly I shall remember this moment.
Well, I always said, if you want something done, do it yourself. Or hear about it for a decade or two afterwards.
Do you really want to take her along because her mother says so?
We need all the help we can get.
I guess you're right. The Grey Wardens have always taken allies where they could find them.
I am so pleased to have your approval.
Actually, I have some questions.
I may have answers. Ask.
Are you really Flemeth's daughter?
'Twas she who raised me, and thus I consider her my mother, born from her womb or not. 'Tis what you meant, yes?
Just wondering her age.
She would no more tell me than you, I assure you.
Have you never been outside the wilds?
From time to time. I have been to the village I mentioned, watched its people, and pondered what curious beings they are. On occasion, I purchased goods from the village merchants. There I spoke with men a little. There they stared and knew me as an outsider. Mother wishes for me to expand the horizon of my experience beyond the wilds. Even she was not born here.
Just resizing the camera. It's covering a little bit of the subtitle when something runs along. Is that what you want?
What I want is to see mountains. I wish to witness the ocean and step into its waters. I want to experience a city rather than see it in my mind. So, yes, this is what I want. Actually, leaving is harder than I thought, however. Perhaps Mother is right. It must simply be done quickly.
Tell me about this village to the north.
'Tis a small place of little consequence called Lothering. No more than a stop
Hell yeah, it
along
is.
your imperial highway where travelers purchase goods from local farms and smiths. I would go more often were it not for the town's chantry. It makes the village particularly intolerant and unpleasant for a stranger such as me.
A chantry? And they never in all this time thought that maybe you were a witch?
Of course they have. They even called out their Templars once. They found nothing.
Is there any reason to go to Lothering then?
I mention it for its tavern, where travelers gather with news from other places. 'Tis small enough that our appearance might go unnoticed. Beyond that, 'tis close, and I know the way.
How are we going to get past the Darkspawn?
The real question is how we are going to get your friend past the Darkspawn, is it not?
That's true. We can sense the Darkspawn. Conversely, they can sense us.
I don't sense any Darkspawn.
You won't right away. No. It takes time. We should be able to sneak past smaller groups, but larger ones, or particularly intelligent Darkspawn, will always detect us.
Mother has given me something else for them to smell instead as we pass by. 'Tis important we head out of the wilds, however, not farther in.
The Darkspawn are camped further in the forest? Farther?
They come from underground, like an eruption. They broke through deep within the forest, and that is where they will be most concentrated.
Good old BioWare conversations where one person just stands woodenly while the other person talks. What skills do you have exactly?
I know a few spells, though I am nowhere near as powerful as Mother. I have also studied history and your Grey Warden treaties.
Can you cook?
I can cook, yes.
Never mind him, you don't have to cook.
You missed your chance. Now it's charred rabbit from here on out.
I have no more questions.
Farewell, Mother. Do not forget the stew on the fire. I would hate to return to a burned-down hut.
Bah! 'Tis far more likely you will return to see this entire area, along with my hut, swallowed up by the Blight.
That would be
I-
unfortunate.
All I meant was...
Yes, I know. Do try to have fun, dear.
Alistair approves, and Morrigan approves. Heck yeah! So for all these to cycle through, these are the treaty quests. Level Alistair up. Strength, Constitution, and Willpower. Fully do that, and then are there any more passives? Dual striking? Oh no, it's dual weapon stuff. So he's a sword and board warrior, so weapon and shield or anything up here. Cool. Well, there we go. Those are the four main quests for now. Oops. Codex. There we go. So, characters. Alistair has been updated to now say his mother was a servant girl who died when Alistair was very young. He was raised by Eamon Gweren, Earl of Redcliffe, for a short time. King Caelan's has now been updated to say he fell in battle alongside Duncan at Ostagar. So Cothrin, some of us know what honour and loyalty are. Cothrin came to Loghain's service the hard way. She belonged to a poor family and was out doing work on the farm when she saw a man on horseback being attacked by several bandits. She rushed to his assistance and found out belatedly that the man she saved was none other than the great hero Loghain. Though she was hardly more than a child, he took her in, offering her a position with his soldiers, and she climbed through the ranks through sheer determination. Becoming the commander of Marik's shield, Loghain's elite soldiers, was the proudest moment of her life. Duncan has been updated to say he was killed in battle against overwhelming numbers of Darkspawn at Ostagar, alongside King Caelan, Eamon Gweren. Nobility does not exist without obligation. We owe all we have, even our lives, to our land and our people. As the maternal uncle of King Caelan, Eamon is one of the king's most trusted advisors. Redcliffe, while not a large or especially wealthy part of Ferelden, is a critical strategic location. The fortress guards the western pass that leads to Orlais, as well as the major trade route with Ortzamar. A well-respected man, though not the most charismatic, King Caelan once said of him, "My uncle Eamon is a man everyone thinks well of, when they remember to think of him at all." Flemeth. You are required to do nothing, least of all believe. Ages ago, legend says Ban Carnibar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harboured a secret talent. Oh, I've read all that. Oh no, I have not. Never mind. Ages ago, legend says Ban Carnibar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harboured a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highever. And for a time they lived happily, till the arrival of a young poet, Ozan, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the chastened tribes for help, and hid from Carnibar's wrath in the wilds, until word came to them that Carnibar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one final time. The lovers returned, but it was a trap. Carnibar killed Ozan and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination. A twisted, maddened creature, she slaughtered Carnibar and all his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the chastened to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. These Kulkari witches led an army of chastened from the wilds to strike at the Alimari tribes. They were defeated by the hero Cormac, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now the wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the Tower of Ishal, but just who, or what, Flemeth truly is a mystery. That's the controls, and that's all of that. Excellent. Just do a quick circle of this bit of the wilds. I guess there is nothing here. Okay. To the world map. To Lothering. So this is if you haven't played this game before, this is the map of Ferelden, which functions as the world map for the game. You've got Lothering, Brazilian outskirts, which is the elves, Denerim, which is the capital of Ferelden, Calenhad Docks, which will take you to the Circle Tower, which is the Mages, where the origin story was. The Frostbacks, which I believe lead to Ortzamar. Soldier's Pass, which I think is an encounter area. Redcliffe Village and Castle are related to Eamon. You can press X. Oh, and up here is the camp. Flemeth's Hut, the hidden home of the infamous Witch of the Wilds. Lothering, a small town just off the Imperial Highway at the edge of the hinterlands. Brazilian outskirts, the edge of the Brazilian forest, the dangers of which are well recorded in local legends. Denerim, Ferelden's largest city and main port, it is also the location of the royal palace. The current party campsite. Sitting in Lake Callan docks, sitting in the shadows of the old Imperial Highway, these docks are now the only means to reach the tower. Circle Tower. Rising out of the middle of Lake Callan, this tower is the home of Ferelden's Circle of Magi. Frostback Mountains, a range of dramatic peaks that stretch across western Ferelden, forming a natural border with Orlais. Soldiers Pass. Although the route is more treacherous than Gerland's path to the north, Soldiers Pass can shave more than 2 days travel off the journey to Orlais. Redcliffe Castle, a fortress high above the village, the home of Olim and Garen. Redcliffe Village, a fishing village on the shores of Lake Callan. But Ostagar, a ruined fortress, Ostagar has stood since the time of the ancient Vinter Imperium. Korcari Wilds, the savage wetlands of the south. This wilderness is the source of the Darkspawn Blight. For now, we can only go to Lothering. Yeah, sometimes you'll have encounters on the way.
And I expect each of you to supply these men. We must rebuild what was lost at Ostagar, and quickly. There are those who would take advantage of our weakened state if we let them. We must defeat this Darkspawn incursion, but we must do so sensibly and without hesitation.
Your lordship, if I might speak. You have declared yourself Queen Honora's regent, and claim we must unite under your banner for our own good. But what of the army lost at Ostagar? Your withdrawal was most fortuitous.
Everything I have done has been to secure Ferelden's independence. I have not shirked my duty to the throne, and neither will any of you!
The Banorn will not bow to you simply because you demand it.
Understand this. I will brook no threat to this nation from you or anyone.
Bantegan, please!
Your Majesty, your father risks civil war. If Eamon were here...
Bantegan, my father is doing what is best.
Did he also do what was best for your husband, Your Majesty?
Guess the volume sliders don't work in cutscenes. Sorry about that. It's the good boy. It is the goodest of boys. Oh, they are less than good. I know what that means. That means they want a hug.
Or do you actually think you have a chance?
Begin the onslaught! Now we can attack!
Please target.
This should be easier. Let's get started. This should be easier.
I really should go and... Why is it always so loud in combat? God damn.
On. You can do better than that. Let's get started. No quarter!
Oh, actually. Nope.
Right, this should be easier.
That might be better.
Right, this should be
Yeah, that seems better. He wags his tail happily and pants. The goodest of boys. This Darkspawn didn't hurt you, boy, did they?
I think he was out there looking for you. He's chosen you. Mabari are like that. They call it imprinting.
Does this mean we're going to have this mangy beast following us about now? Wonderful.
He's not mangy.
I've always wanted a dog like this. Maybe it's meant to be. Happy bark. Bless you to the person sneezing outside. Oh, now I have to name the dog. Bong bong. System sounds on the 360 were not pleasant on the ears. So I know the canon name is Boxborn for Alistair's Mabari. Oh, I know. So, Gotrek and Felix, Warhammer Fiction. Main character is Felix. I have a wooden cat called Gotrek because everyone calls their cat Felix. And one of their travelling companions is another dwarf named Snorri. So, there we go. That was the best I could come up with at short notice. I really should have thought about that. Anyway, so back to the Codex. Queen Honora, we've been given the gift of freedom by our forebears. Let us not squander it. The only child of the war hero Lurgain Mactyr, Honora has never been one to stay quietly in the background. It is common knowledge that in the 5 years Honora and Kaelin held the throne together, she was the one wielding the power. She is held in much higher esteem than her husband by the people of Ferelden, nobility and commoners alike, and commands the respect even of foreign nations, having once inspired Empress Selene of Orlais to declare, Honora of Ferelden is a solitary rose among brambles. Where's the other? Oh, Snorri. The Mabari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to. Ferelden proverb. Rhiannon found this Mabari in their camp at Ostagar. His master was killed in the wilds and Snorri fell ill from biting the Darkspawn in battle. Snorri seems to have chosen Rhiannon as his new master now, seeking Rhiannon out after the battle at Ostagar and warning of an impending Darkspawn attack. And there's one more. Oh, is it Bantegan? Yeah, Bantegan. Bantegan Garen. The Banon will not bow to you simply because you demand it. Younger brother to Arl Eamon of Redcliffe and uncle to King Kaelin, Tegan holds the Banon and Rainsfair, a tiny province of Redcliffe squeezed between the Frostback Mountains and Lake Calenhad. Bantegan avoids the Denerim court except to go hunting with his nephew, and rarely makes himself heard at the Landsmeet, preferring to leave politics to his brother. And there we go. The goodest of boys. Do you see anything interesting? Box excitedly runs off. Snorri seems to have found a piece of wood carved with curious symbols. Dirt still clings to it, and it looks very old. You don't really know what it is, but it looks like it'd be used as some kind of weapon. Okay. That's now my stuff. Speaking of... Not there yet. That sucks. Don't think that's any better. Oh, it is. Okay. You can have that. Have its aegis. A terrible blow scarred the face of this plain wooden shield long ago, but there is a strength and presence to the shield, and it seems almost to glow with a light of its own. And then Morrigan... What's your staff like? Better.
What do you wish of me? if you must.
How did you become a shape-changer?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother has been doing this for a long time then?
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Can anyone become a shape-changer?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. Indeed, you could
Heck
learn
yeah.
the spells required if I cared to teach you.
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
And what do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard of magic like that before.
No, 'tis not unheard of in the remote corners of the world. There are traditions of magic outside of the circle of Magi, despite what those mages would have you believe. Some of these traditions are old, indeed, passed down as carefully guarded lore from one generation to the next. The zealots of the chantry would uproot all such practitioners if they could, but as luck have it, some still exist. My mother is such a one.
That's good. Such traditions need to be preserved.
I'm shocked that you think so, being a mage of the circle as you were. But perhaps you felt a little like a caged bird as well, caught within that dark tower.
Yes, very much so.
I thought so.
That's all I wanted to ask.
Indeed. Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
Does seem a little revolt. Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled. That would just make you angry, I think.
No doubt it would. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us.
Argon improves +3. Oh. I guess while I'm here,
What do you need?
do you want to talk about Duncan?
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
That doesn't mean I don't mourn his loss.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the Blight and everything. I'm sorry.
No harm done, Alistair.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
He saved your life by sending you to the tower.
Yes. I know. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
I've lost enough to know what you're going through.
Yes, I imagine you really have, haven't you? Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Maybe I'll go to Highover with you when you go.
I'd like that. So would he, I think. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
What can a Templar do, exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So... couldn't others learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry controls the lyrium trade with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together.
So you were addicted to this lyrium?
Thankfully, no. You only start receiving lyrium once you've taken your vows. You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templar's talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away, either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Lucky you indeed. Save the game. See if he's got anything else to say. And then check the new items.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
Can you teach others to be a Templar?
I suppose I could. But I really would rather not. When the Grand Cleric let Duncan recruit me, she made me swear never to reveal Templar secrets outside of the Chantry. I'd rather not go back on my word.
Very well, I'll respect your word.
Ask me later, perhaps. Maybe I'll change my mind. This is not something small you're asking, after all.
That's alright, I can't become a Templar anyway because I'm a mage, so... so yeah, occasionally there'll be encounters triggered as you travel.
What do you need?
It happens in the Overland map.
Ask away.
And also in Denerim. Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now that there's just 2 of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
Will we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be 2 of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left for Elden? I don't know. If there's an archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked.
That's a compelling reason.
Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere.
No more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
How did you become a Grey Warden? Actually... Okay, there was no disapproval
What
change
do you
for
need?
that.
Ask away.
How did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
I mean, before that.
Let's see. I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
What skills might those be?
Well, it wasn't an easy life, you know. I don't know whether or not you've noticed, but I'm not exactly the Chantry type. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
So you'll notice there's an approval system in the game. I believe you can annoy people enough that they will leave, but you have to get like minus 100.
What do you need?
100 disapproval. So.
Ask away.
So you said this Alderman raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
Would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
Would explain the breath as well, then.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on a cold, hard ground, isn't it?
I dream of becoming a Grey Warden. Oh, wait.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off to the Chantry?
Arleman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, the new Arlessa resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
You're probably luckier than most orphans.
I suppose you're right. I wasn't raised as the Arl's son, though, if you're picturing that. I slept in hay, out in the stables, not on silk sheets. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Okay, there we go. So we will learn more about this as the game progresses, but for now that is our lot. Time to read the updated journal entry. It has now been updated to read. His mother was a serving girl who died when Alistair was very young. He was raised by Eamon Garen and Arl of Redcliffe for a time. The Earl's wife is old, suspected the reason her husband took an interest in the welfare of a servant's child was that Alistair was Eamon's son. She insisted that the boy be sent away to the Chantry. Feels bad, man. Who's a good boy? Oh, of course it is. Where did that dagger go? Move to junk. And... move that one to junk. And... Yep. That junk. Those to junk. Destroy. Take all. Haha. Grab the elf fruit and continue on. This is the Imperial Highway, by the way. Not a wall from Elder Scrolls 4. So we're about to meet two of the best characters in the game. Before we actually even get to Lothering.
Wake up, gentlemen! More travelers to attend to. Led by an elf, of all things.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers!
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
Now, is that any way to greet someone? A simple 10 silvers, and you're free to move on.
Right, so, sorry, I was waiting for the cutscene, the dialogue to end. It depends what you like. 2 is a very different game. So obviously this one has the tactical combat aspect to it. 2 is more of a, I guess it's more of an action RPG. It's a lot smaller focus. It's focused entirely around one character's kind of rise from refugee status to champion of the city of Kirkwall. So it feels more of a personal story than this one. This is more of a traditional fantasy kind of the world is ending, save it kind of situation. Inquisition at the other end of the scale is a huge game, easily 100 plus hours, but it brings back the tactical combat and that kind of thing. A lot of people don't like 2. I really enjoy it, but I'd say play 2 definitely, and then go on to Inquisition. But I would say also read reviews and for message boards and things. But just be aware that it's a very divisive game. If that helps answer your question. You should listen to your friend. We're not refugees.
What did I tell you? No wagons, and this one looks armed.
The toll applies to everyone, Henrik. That's why it's a toll, and not, say, a refugee tax.
Oh, right. Even if you're no refugee, you still gotta pay.
You're toll collectors, then?
Indeed, for the upkeep of the Imperial Highway. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Yeah. The emphasis is it's more of a... Yeah, hack and slash is the easiest way to say it. It is more cinematic in a way. Oh, and thank you for choosing so poorly by spending time here. Standard disclaimer to everyone. That's just my humour. I don't mean to insult you. It's also one of the most common criticisms is that you just visit the same areas over and over again. There's only like 10 places in the entire game or something like that. It's done well, but it is limiting if you prefer to explore vast vistas. That's more Inquisition. You're fixing the highway? I think not.
Not much gets past you, I see.
It's not really a toll. We're just robbing you, see?
Do shut up. Even a Genlock would have understood that.
Oh, Genlock, that's the pronunciation. Oh, Hanrik. Forget it, I'm not paying.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear that. We have rules, you know.
Right. We get to ransack your corpse then. Those are the rules.
Do you really want to fight a Grey Warden?
Did he say he's a Grey Warden? Them ones killed the king.
Traitors to Ferelden, I hear. Tern Loghain put quite a bounty on any who are found.
But are them Grey Wardens good? I mean, really good? Good enough to kill a king?
You have a point. Well, let's forget about the toll. We'll just leave you to your darkspawn fighting, king-killing ways.
You know what? Let's add Bandit Slaying to that list.
And just when we had things settled.
One sec. Heroism on the dog. Because if you don't support your dog... Alright, all three then. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've never played Andromeda, but... obviously it's, by all accounts, distinctly average. But all three of these kind of... I think there are elements of 2 that just come across in gameplay that, in the gameplay of Inquisition, I guess you might enjoy. Although I really like 2, so...
All right, we surrender. We're just trying to get by before the darkspawn get us all.
Get by. This shoddy operation is pathetic. I could do better.
Right. I guess so. I'm sorry.
Want some questions answered?
Well, what could I tell you? We aren't even from these parts.
What exactly have you been doing?
Well, watching for folks fleeing from the south. Chasing from the wilds and farmholders, mostly. There aren't soldiers here anymore, so we help ourselves. We try not to hurt anyone too much.
Apparently he's also been, I don't know, vaping? Doing medicinal smoking drugs? Smoking medicinal drugs? Huh. What's going on in Lothering?
It's packed full. The band took his men north with Tern Loghain, so there's no one looking out for it except a few Templars at the Chantry. Well, I was just trying to feed my family, you know?
Have you heard about any survivors from the battle?
Couple, maybe. A group of wounded ash warriors came by earlier. Got right out of their way.
What news have you heard?
Everyone's saying how the Grey Wardens betrayed the king during the Darkspawn fight. Got him and themselves killed. Tern Loghain pulled out just in time. First thing he's doing as regent is putting a bounty on Grey Wardens.
Nice.
Well then, let me go!
I'm turning you into the authorities.
There aren't any. Just the Templars, and they'll execute me.
They'll do what they must. Come with me.
I'm not going down without a fight!
Okay, you died. Was that everything you wanted it to be? Oh, okay. Right, so... collect everything from the loot. And then... yeah. Pretty much. Ooh. You've arrived in Lothering and may rest and resupply here. Past the village lies the Imperial Highway, the road that runs through all of Ferelden. The highway will take you to the various places you need to go. Redcliffe, blah blah. Quest in Lothering. You found the body of a Templar slain by bandits. His corpse had been picked clean of everything save a note and a locket. Perhaps the locket will mean something to someone back in Lothering. He did say fight. He did. Not quite sure that was the fight he had in mind, if I'm being perfectly honest. Right, so... I am reading all the codex entries as well, so if you want to tune out for like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, it should be fine. Lothering. In ancient times, Lothering was little more than a trading post that served the fortress of Ostergard to the south. Nowadays it is larger, serving Redcliffe and the community of merchants and surface dwarves near Ortzamar. Its location on the North Road gives it strategic value, so control of Lothering has historically been a matter of contention between the southern Bannorn and the Southreach Arling. King Callan had himself stepped in and awarded the town to Southreach in the Exalted Age, which has largely ended the feud, or at least the appearance of it, from that book by that guy, because again, In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi is the main source of information for the codex entries in this game, and it's a mouthful to say every time. A note from Sir Henrik. So many of my fellow knights have been searching for the urn. Surely one of them must have found Brother Genetivi by now. Still, until I hear that all is well, I must proceed as planned. Brother Genetivi holds the key to finding the urn of sacred ashes. We always knew this, but I believe I know now. I now know where Brother Genetivi lies. I've been to his home in Denerim and found the trail, and I'm amazed that other knights have not done likewise. Unless they have? No. It is best not to get caught up in thoughts of conspiracy. Sir Donald awaits my report in Lothering. I must go to him immediately and report what I have learned. Should anyone find these ramblings, all I ask is that he be informed of my fate. I pray that he complete what I cannot. A note from Sir Henrik of Redcliffe. Here's the party approval codex entry. Oh, wow. I should probably have read that. Save again. Just as like a reminder to anyone who's watching this on YouTube or whatnot. Tomorrow is Feel Good Friday. I will be playing Armello, so if that's not your thing, totally understand. It's like a digital board game with role-playing elements, so cutscene.
Well, there it is. Lothering. Pretty as a painting.
Ah, so you have finally decided to rejoin us, have you? Falling on your blade in grief seemed like too much trouble, I take it.
Is my being upset so hard to understand? Have you never lost someone important to you? Just what would you do if your mother died?
Before or after I stopped laughing.
Right, very creepy. Forget I asked.
What did you want to talk about, Alistair?
His navel, I suspect. He certainly has been contemplating it for long enough.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
I can be friendly when I desire to. Alas, desiring to be more intelligent does not make it so.
Anyway, I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first.
That's a good point. Good point. We should try and use these treaties. You have some thoughts on that point, Alistair.
This should be good.
I think what Flemeth suggested is the best idea. These treaties, have you looked at them?
Yes, I have.
There are three main groups that we have treaties for. The Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, and the Circle of Magi. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens?
Short of leaving Ferelden to seek them out, the only place to send word to would be Weishaupt Fortress.
Ooh.
And that's thousands of miles away.
Again, I always pronounce it Weishaupt because I have a smattering of German from school. Why are you leaving it up to me?
Well, I don't know where we should go. I'll do whatever you decide.
Now that is unsurprising.
Arleman is a good man,
Yes,
but
he
I don't know
admits
for
it.
sure he's where we should go. I'm not going to fight about it.
What do you think we should do, Morgan?
Go after your enemy directly. Find this man Loghain and kill him. The rest of this business with the treaties can then be done in safety.
Yes, he certainly wouldn't see that coming, and it's not like he has the advantage of an army and experience and...
I was asked for my opinion and I gave it. If your wish is to come up with reasons why something cannot be done, we will stand here until the Darkspawn are upon us.
Both of them have made very good points. We need to find these people.
I can give you directions, if you like.
Well, in the Circle of Mage, I do what the Chantry says.
Technically, the Circle of Magi is independent. We don't know that the Chantry won't support us, of course.
You truly believe that?
If we speak to the first Enchanter, he should see that his responsibility to the Grey Wardens supersedes anything the Chantry or even Tanlo Gain might have to say about it.
Where do we find Olean?
He'll be at Castle Redcliffe, in the far western part of Ferelden, next to the mountain passes. If he isn't there, someone will be able to tell us where he is.
Where will we find the Dalish elves?
If we head eastward, towards the Brazilian forest, we should hear word of one of the clans that wanders that area. Hopefully they will still be there.
Where do we find the dwarves?
We would need to speak to their king in Orzammar. That means heading west into the Frostback Mountains, which won't be easy.
Where would Loghain be exactly?
If he isn't out in the field with his army, he's probably going to be at the palace in Denerim. We can go to Denerim, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
Ooh, that's harsh. Yeah, life gets in the way sometimes, unfortunately. But you have my commiserations. I know the feeling. I was the one that moved away from my D&D group, but luckily the internet exists and we kept in touch and Skyped our way to victory.
Then you have a plan.
I'm ready to get going.
Fair enough. Let's head into the village whenever you're ready.
Is there no Adventurers League or anything nearby? I mean, obviously, that is geographically and time reliant. There appears to be something in that wall. Oh, save. Actually, did I ever check the items I got from talking to Alistair? Knight's Locket. This golden locket bears within it a tiny painting of a pretty brown-haired young woman. It is impossible to tell who the woman might be, but whoever owned the locket was quite fond of her. Comfort note is written by Sir Hedrick. That's what I read. And then we've got some gifts. Precious stones. Crafting materials. Crafted materials. Armor and stuff. What's the requirement for this? 38. I'll probably be doing...
So let's talk about your mother from...
Oh, hey. Forgot about Party Box.
I'd rather talk about your mother.
Well, there's nothing to talk about. And besides, isn't your mother a scary witch who lives in the middle of a forest? Much more interesting.
To you, perhaps. You would find the moss growing upon a stone interesting.
You know what's more interesting than that? Apostates. Mages outside of the tower. That's illegal, you know.
You did not read that in a book somewhere, did you? I hope the small letters did not strain you overmuch.
Oh, we could not talk about your mother. That works for me.
I feel kind of bad because obviously I'm playing a mage, so I don't really need Morgan in my party. But I like the sass. I get...
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not one of them stopped to help.
I guess if you haven't heard of them, things like Roll20 might work for you. But...
As if we needed more fighting here. Don't you see how scared everyone is?
Oh, they're all dead now, so there's no reason to be afraid.
I hear those bandits are back again. Why don't the Templars kill them?
Oh, they don't need to kill them anymore.
I'm scared. When are we going home?
Kid, you look like you're dead.
Please, we came here to get away from the fighting.
What happened to the king is so terrible. Is anywhere safe now?
Oh, this field seems okay for now. Guess it's not showing up on my map because I haven't been over there yet.
Need something? I don't generally talk to strange elves who wander in here.
You have something against elves?
I don't know you. Why shouldn't I have something against you? We've got enough strangers overrunning us. Nothing but trouble.
Could make trouble for you, human. Is that what you want?
No. Beg pardon and all. I should mind my manners.
I have some questions.
Can't promise I'm going to answer them.
What's going on here?
What isn't? We got chastened barbarians in every farmholder south of Callanhard running from the Darkspawn. Not that they'll be safe here with the army gone.
Who's in charge of this village?
You could talk to the Elder, though she's got her hands full getting everyone on their way. For now, most folks go to Sir Bryant. He's head of the Chantry's Templars.
You don't have a ruling lord?
He's gone to war and taken all his soldiers, leaving us to fend for ourselves. There's not going to be much left when he returns, if he returns.
That's fair. Were those bandits always outside the village?
Were? You mean they're gone?
Yes, I drove them off.
Well, goody for you. Now there's no one to drive off the blighted refugees. Sir Brian'll be glad, though. He's been talking about offering a reward for anyone who'd run them out.
I don't know about running them out, but I certainly ran them through. Anyway.
Don't let me stop you.
I won't, don't worry. I mean, I didn't run them through, Alistair ran them through, but
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
I almost feel sorry for the Kunari locked in that cage. It won't be able to defend itself from the Darkspawn.
Ulstan.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
So if you've just started it, how far have you gotten into it? Because obviously, well, I'm only playing a couple of hours a week, so you'll probably get further than I show you anyway, but I don't want to spoil too much.
Who are you? Can you protect us?
But I appreciate you being here, all the same. Grab that elf fruit, yeah. As a Templar.
You there. If you're looking for safe shelter, I'll warn you. There's none to be found.
That sounds like Greg Ellis. I think it's Greg Ellis.
Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
No, not Greg Ellis. Gideon Emery. What do you mean?
We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and Tavern are full to bursting. There simply isn't enough food to go around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend.
2 pinpricks of light in the dark helmet of that Templar. Also, I'm pretty sure it's Gideon Emery. I think that's his surname. Plays Fenris in the second game. Thanks for the warning. Can I ask a few questions?
I'm just out here to keep an eye out for Darkspawn. Please ask someone in town. No offense.
Is anyone in charge here?
The band has marched north with Terran Loghain, so Lothering's on its own. Most folks look to Elder Miriam. Otherwise, you could speak to Sir Bryant in the Chantry, I suppose. It's up to you.
Thank you.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
Have you met that gentleman over there? Because he said the exact same thing.
I hear those bandits are back
look how
again.
they moan and wail
Why don't the
and gnash
Templars
their teeth.
kill them?
'Tis sad to watch how helplessly they scurry about.
Alistair, I don't know if you know how benches work or not, but that's not how you're supposed to sit on a bench.
Please, We came here to get away from the fighting.
And I came here to show you my dog.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
There are 2 gentlemen over there you might want to talk to about that. This looks like it might be a quest with the name of Robbed Man.
Greetings to you, good sir.
Elves.
If it isn't too much to ask, might you spare some bread or anything?
What happened to you?
We thought it would be safer in Lothering, that the Terran would bring his soldiers here. But bandits attacked us and took everything. Our food, our clothes, my daughter's pet lamb. Nobody cares about a few elves like us. Surely you understand.
I met those bandits. They're dead now.
You killed them?
That's wonderful news. Perhaps our belongings are still there.
I can't thank you enough, friend. Even if we don't get everything back, it's good to know others will be safe.
Gotta do a solid for your elven people.
Have you seen my mother?
That depends. Who is your mother?
She's really tall, and she has red hair. We live on a big farmhold, all of us. Some mean men with swords came, and Mother told me to run to the village as fast as I could, so I did. She said she'd be right behind me, but I've been waiting and waiting, and I can't see her.
Do you know where your father is?
He went with William to the neighbours yesterday, but he didn't come back.
Come with me, I'll help you look for your mother.
Mother said I wasn't to go with anyone.
That's fair.
I'm supposed to wait for her here, in the village.
Stranger danger and all that. Go to the Chantry Child, someone will look after you.
I will, but only if I don't find Mother first. So, are you really an elf?
Did the ears give me away?
Father says elves aren't very nice, but you're nicer than everybody here. Thank you for helping me.
I literally did nothing, kid. I told you to go and be someone else's problem. Splint melt gloves, you say? Yep. Get rid of those. Are these better than what Morrigan's currently wearing? Not really. No. Oh. I forgot that happened. We'll let her wear those for now. Only just daggers I can get rid of. That would be a hard no. Man, I wish I had been able to go to the quartermaster before I left.
Back off. I have the right to charge what I wish.
You profit from their misfortune. I should have the Templars give away everything in your carts.
You wouldn't dare. Any of you step too close to my goods and I'll...
It's so nice to see everyone working together in a crisis. Warms the heart.
Oh, you there. You look able. Would you care to make a tiny profit helping a beleaguered businessman?
Sounds like Mortmere. Is your profiteering ruffling some feathers?
You could say that, yes.
The nerve of these people!
He is charging outlandish prices for things people desperately need. Their blood is filling his pockets.
'Tis only survival of the fittest. All of these cretins would do the same in his shoes, given the chance.
I have limited supplies. The people decide what those supplies are worth to them.
You bought most of your wares from these very people last week. Now they flee for their lives, and you want to talk business?
Look, stranger, I've 100 silvers if you drive this rabble off, starting with that priest. I'm an honest merchant, nothing more.
You don't think you're being unscrupulous?
Would it help these folks if they could buy no goods at all?
They spend their very last coin because they are desperate, and this man preys upon them as surely as the bandits outside the city.
About those bandits.
Ah, I'm not arguing anymore. Drive off this woman and get your 100 silvers. Otherwise, I'm taking my wagon and leaving.
Ooh. Huh. Persuade or intimidate? One will annoy Alistair, one will annoy Morrigan. Lower your prices or lose your goods.
Maker's breath. Sometimes it's truly not worth operating this far south.
Just charge what you would have before this tragedy.
Fine, yes, just stop complaining. You're giving me a headache.
So, we have come to solve every squabble in the village personally. My, but the Darkspawn will be impressed.
Thank you for your generous assistance. May the Maker watch over your path.
I don't think he's gonna. Oh, I think she just disapproves anyway. That's alright. There'll be plenty of time to get her approval rating back up. Especially because I think I can get the feast day stuff, which is, like, enough to bump it up to 100 immediately, so.
Are you here to make my head ache, or do you actually want to buy something?
Here to make your head ache.
Mission accomplished. I hope you're happy. Are you here to make my head
Let's see what you have.
It isn't much, but take a look if you want.
I like that you can do that, that is an option. Right, I want to sell a lot of my stuff. So, sell. I'm basing on price. Yeah, the flat blade's better. Keep that just in case. I'm entirely basing on price what's good and what isn't, so we'll see how all that goes for me. Don't need that anymore. Alistair should be able to use that actually. Oh hey look, helmets that I don't want to use. That was weird. Those and those. I don't know why I'm getting rid of all of this because I'm going to need some for Sten momentarily, but there we go. Keep that, keep that. Get rid of the chastened robes. I'll keep those, although I'll probably never use them. Buy the wine, because I might need it. Probably don't need that yet, and I'll probably have better. I'll be able to get better ones anyway. So that's 8.57. 125. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. Keep that for now. Sell that. Huh. See, all of this stuff is kind of useful. I guess I could just use it, to be fair, in combat, so... These are poisons, right? Yeah, this is just poisons. I can't make anyway. Never mind. We'll be fine for now.
The Chantry Board. Yes, let us run errands for the betterment of mankind as well as a few coppers.
Oh, Morrigan, you are a Debbie Downer. I see. I see. You are entitled to that opinion, good fellow. However strongly you may hold it.
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not one of them stopped to help.
So many strangers are about now.
That is not the voice I expected to come from that child. So I was just making a note of something.
And Eileen spoke unto the masses, my hearth is yours, my bread is yours, my life is yours. For all who walk in the sight of the Maker are one.
Greetings. You don't talk much, do you?
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
He can't answer you. He's Chanter Devons.
What's a chanter?
One of them that can only say the chant of light. His board has letters of good deeds to be doing. My father fixed Widow Allison's roof once, and the charter paid him, he did.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto the Maker.
So it's like a vow of silence then, he can't talk normally.
Unless it's the chant of light, no.
And so Rajmael in the heathen temple recanted. Speak only the word, sing only the chant, then the golden city is thine, spoke Andraste.
A chanter says what?
What?
Oh, you don't speak. Ha!
What hath man's sin wrought?
Oh, he cheated.
Have anything of interest on the board?
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
I think it's a really cool idea for a religious order. Bandits! Bandits everywhere! They're not a bandit to drink? I don't know. As transcribed on behalf of Sir Bryant, Templar and Defender of the Faith. Know that all those who prey upon refugees do so under pain of death. The Maker spurns bandits and their kind. The Templars offer a sizable reward for the apprehension or execution of the bandit leaders plying their trade in the northern wood and roads. Beware. The bandits are numerous and of considerable skill. Only a well-armed and well-trained party should brave the deep wood. We pray for the success of any who undertake this mission. Residents of good standing and passing travellers have indicated there are 3 bandit groups in the northern wood. This humble chanter would echo Sir Bryant's caution lest you wind up another victim to these evil men. The reward for such service is 3 sovereigns. May the Maker look after his children in our hour of need. Gonna take that for 3 sovereigns. I needs me the money. And then, of course, at the end of the game, I really won't need me the money. But there we go. That's a different problem entirely. Oh, role-playing games and your economies.
The legions of evil are on your doorstep. They will feast upon our hearts. There is nowhere to run. This evil will cover the world like a plague of locusts.
Please, you're scaring the children.
Better to slit their throats now than let them suffer at Darkspawn hands. There! One of their minions is already amongst us. This man bears their evil stench. Can you not see the vile blackness that fills him?
This man has very strongly held opinions. Why don't you keep your voice down?
I watch the Black Horde descend on my people. I will not be silent.
Please stop. Somebody shut his mouth.
But isn't he right? The ban left us. We're going to die.
This minion is but the first of those who will destroy us.
You poor man, what happened to you? Oh, don't be a fool. Darkspawn can be defeated.
No, I have seen them. You cannot run. You cannot fight.
You poor man, what happened to you?
My family, my clan, those creatures butchered them all. Some of us fled here, but we cannot escape the Darkspawn.
Must have been horrible. How did you escape?
No, I won't listen to the words of a man tainted by Darkspawn.
I'm not evil. Please. Won't you talk to me?
I ran. hearing my wife's screams as they dragged her off.
You're not honouring her death by acting like this.
Are you calling me a coward?
I'm calling you an idiot. Listen to yourself for a moment.
I have shamed my ancestors, but the blackness will come.
Oh, that guy's head on the right.
He was right, wasn't he? There's no hope for us.
There's always hope. Muster your courage.
You're right. We can't give up.
But we can't fight. What are we supposed to do?
We can't lie down and die either. We must go north to Denerim.
Yes, you must. Be their problem. And that is why I highly recommend getting your cunning to 16 and then putting stuff into coercion options. Because it allows you to solve problems.
Maybe with that blasted chasing gone, my headache will go as well.
Maybe. I just steal from the chantry. They don't mind. So Marin.
If you seek refuge in the Chantry, there's simply no room left.
You're closed?
We turn none aside, but we simply don't have room for anyone to sleep. Priests are within if you seek to offer devotion to the Maker, however. May he protect us all.
Who's in charge of this chantry?
The revered mother runs the Chantry itself, and Sir Bryant heads the Templars stationed here.
Did you know there were bandits on the highway?
Were? Did you drive them off? Well, Sir Bryant will appreciate that.
Have you heard any news?
Not since Tairn Loghain passed by with his army. It's a shame about the king. But with the Darkspawn coming, few can think of anything else.
Goodbye.
Make her watch over you.
Right, let's go into the chantry. Let's oh.
Got it.
Stop that spell. I don't think it has any actual bearing on anything, but for role-playing reasons, I'm going to turn the spell off before going into the chantry. Yeah, I might consider using sorry. There we go. That's the mental health kicking my ass, triggering my stutter. Ooh. I hate not being able to vocalize certain phonemes when I want to speak, or to vocalize them easily.
Where can we go? This is no better than what we left.
Are you here to see the Reverend Mother too?
That says revered mother. The who?
The head of this chantry. She's very busy, but I think she's free now. I came to ask for a blessing. With my family abandoning the farm to flee north, we'll need all the grace the Maker can offer. Well, good luck to you. I need to get underway. If I'm lucky, I'll make it back to the farmhold by nightfall.
Okay, thank you for that.
There's word of darkspawn stragglers, but no sign of the main horde. We are the only hope of protection this village has now, and I will not abandon them. That is all. May the Maker have mercy on us.
May the Maker have mercy on us too.
I hear those bandits are back again. Why don't the Templars kill them?
They're already dead.
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not
A few
one
knights
of
have
them
come
stopped to
through
help.
here, searching for some holy artifact.
That's starting to sound very similar to what other people
None of them
say.
stopped to help.
I don't think any of them stopped to help.
Please, we came here to get away from the fighting.
I think... Oh, let's clear that quest. There's a thing about the job board. The First Blight, Chapter 1. Thedas is a land of fierce diversity, from the assassin princes of Antiva to the faded griffins of the Anderfels, but in my travels I have found one tale that unites the people of this land. It is a story of pride and damnation, and although the telling differs, the essence of the tale remains the same. At the height of its power, the Savinter Imperium stretched over much of Thedas, uniting the known world under the rule of the tyrannical Magisters. It is said that the old gods whom the Magisters worshipped gave them the knowledge of blood magic, and the Magisters used this forbidden power to cement their rule. The blood of elven slaves and humans alike ran down imperial altars to fuel Magister greed. The tales of their excess are so horrifying that one can only be grateful that blood magic is prohibited today. But all that stands tall must eventually fall. Perhaps they foresaw their ruin, or perhaps their pride knew no bounds, but whatever the reason, the Magisters dared to open a magical portal into the Golden City at the heart of the Fade. They sought to usurp the Maker's throne, long left unattended in the Golden City after the Maker turned his back on his creations. They would storm heaven itself with their power, and become as gods. This is what the Chantry, and its oft-exercised tendency to understate, refers to as the second sin. According to most versions of the tale, the Magisters did indeed reach the Golden City and walked into the home of the Maker, where no living being before them had dared, or been able, to tread. But humanity is not meant to walk in heaven. The Magisters were wicked with pride and other sins, and their presence tainted the Golden City. What once was a perfect, holy citadel became a twisted home of darkness and nightmares. The Magisters were expelled back through their gateway and cursed for their treachery. As the Golden City had been tainted, so were the Magisters twisted and transformed into things of darkness. The very first of the Darkspawn. The Golden City, once a shining beacon at the heart of the Fade, became the Black City. A reminder of all that man's pride has cost. From Tales of the Destruction of Thedas by Brother Gentivi, Chantry Scholar.
As if we needed more fighting here. Don't you see how scared everyone is?
I almost feel sorry for the Kunari locked in that cage. It won't be able to defend itself from the Darkspawn.
Say before talking to Sir Bryant, in case he has an issue with Morrigan.
Yes? Who might you be?
You can call me Rhiannon.
I am Sir Bryant, commander of Lothering's remaining Templars. You don't seem like the other refugees. Are you one of Arl Eamon's knights?
I'm a Grey Warden, actually.
I see. Tern Loghain declared all Grey Wardens traitors responsible for the king's death. You know this, I hope.
The Grey Wardens did no such thing.
I don't believe the Grey Wardens would be as careless or malicious as the Tern claims. But either way, there it is. It is best you not linger, though. Just in case.
Are you in charge here?
The revered mother leads this flock. I merely command her Templars. Normally, our role is to protect the Chantry and seek out unsanctioned magic. For now, it is all we can do to protect the innocent.
How did Templars fight against magic?
We have more than swords at our disposal. We're taught to dispel unholy magics as well. If only our powers work to keep away the Darkspawn. Alas, it is not so.
Where would I find the revered mother?
In her study, no doubt. Preparing what she will take when we eventually evacuate.
Are you the only protection this village has?
Our ban was summoned by Tern Loghain, and he took his soldiers north with him. Lothering has been abandoned.
Tell me about something else.
If the matter is important, certainly.
Have you heard any recent news?
Other than the Darkspawn horde bearing down on us, none of it is good. Tern Loghain is set to declare himself king, I hear. Disaster piled on disaster.
What? Power corrupts? King Caelan had no heir?
None that we know of. Tern Loghain has no legitimate claim on the throne. He may be a hero, and his daughter may be queen, but he is a commoner, and the king's corpse is barely cold. If Arl Eamon was able to intervene, perhaps it would not have gone this far. I do not care who takes the throne. Only fools fight over who owns a cottage while it burns down around them.
Raises a good point. What is wrong with all Eamon?
Arl Eamon has fallen ill, and his knights are on a quest for the sacred urn filled with Andraste's ashes, said to cure any malady. He must be very ill if they chase miracles as the only cure. One of the Arl's knights, Sir Donnell, is here searching for fantasies. Well, never mind. Ask him if you care about this foolishness.
About those bandits outside the village.
Maker's breath. How many times must we drive them off?
They won't bother you again. I killed them.
All of them? By yourself?
It's true. I saw it from my post. It was over so fast.
Oh,
We
hell
didn't
yeah.
have time to get over there.
Sad that it needed to come to that. But then they asked for it. Will you accept a small reward for your service?
I could keep an eye out for trouble for the right pay.
I wish I could afford such help, to be truthful. Take your reward at any rate. It is all I have to offer. If it interests you, there is a Chanter's board outside full of quests that need doing. The Chanters even offer pay for some of them. Now, unless there's something else you need.
That was only the one. That does not make it full. Things seem very dire in the village.
They are. With the ban having taken his men north, the village is left to its fate. We will evacuate as many as we can before the horde reaches us. I will stay as long as I am needed. Now, unless there's something else you need.
Is there any other help you can offer?
I cannot openly help you, I fear, but... Here, take this key. It opens the large cabinet on the far wall. There is more there than we can carry when we evacuate, so take what you need.
I should go.
Travel safely, and may the Maker watch over you.
Kind of thought that would be the key for Stan's cage.
You, miss, what is your name? You seem quite odd to me.
You would not be the first to think so. But avert your eyes. I will not have you staring over long.
Let's get used to it. I'll be watching you. We want no trouble here.
There'll be no trouble here.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
There are a couple of guys outside you might want to talk to you about that.
As if we needed more fighting here. Don't you see how scared everyone is?
And when the Maker spoke, a chant of light scattered in the darkness. The word dispelled fear and ignorance. Let those who cry out from the shadows be comforted. Let those who seek redemption be delivered. Let those who have sinned be forgiven.
And when the chant spreads across all four corners of the world, let it rise at
What's that noise?
the ears of the Maker. Let him hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous dedication and enduring perseverance.
And then shall the Maker return to us. And then shall the Maker return to the Black City in heaven. And then shall
I'll be the dog.
chant of light make
Might be
it
Snorri.
pure. Let all mankind be humble. Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
And when the Maker spoke, a chant of light scattered in the darkness. The word dispelled fear and ignorance. Let those who cry
Anyway.
out from the shadows be comforted. Those who seek redemption be delivered. Let those who have sinned be forgiven.
And when the chant spreads across all four corners
They're just going to keep preaching.
of the world, let him hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous dedication and enduring perseverance.
And then shall the Maker return
I think
to
it's just
us.
looping.
And then shall the Maker
Who?
What?
I beg your pardon. I did not see you approach.
No, because you had to
Sir
go back to me.
Donald? Is that you?
Alistair? By the Maker, how are you? I was certain you were dead.
Not yet. No thanks to Turn Logain.
If Arl Eamon were well, he'd set Logain straight soon enough.
So you're here looking for the Urn of Sacred Ashes, then?
I am indeed. Andraste's ashes are said to cure any illness, but I fear we are chasing a fable. With each day, my hope dims.
Tell me more about this Urn of Sacred Ashes.
Supposedly, the urn contains the ashes of the prophetess Andraste. Surely you know all this.
I'd like to hear what you've learned.
If you're truly interested, there are books here containing a great deal of lore. Nothing I have found leads me to believe that this was anything more than a quest of desperation. I intend to return to Redcliffe soon and tell the Arlessa exactly that, Once Sir Henrik arrives.
About Sir Henrik. Who is Sir Henrik?
My fellow knight and travelling companion. He is delayed, though.
Your friend... So your quest for the Ashes brought you here?
I expected to take advantage of the Chantry's library, in fact. But my skills are better suited to battle than chasing down tales.
Shouldn't you be filling the Darkspawn?
My mission takes priority. But I fear I shall be returning to Redcliffe with nothing to show for my efforts.
I was hoping to meet Al Eamon, in fact.
Why is that, if I may ask?
We need his help against Tern Loghain.
I see. The Arl is a popular man, it's true. Tern Loghain, however, is a hero throughout Ferelden. Whatever the Tern has done or not done, the Arl remains ill, or worse. That is my primary concern.
Is there any point in going to Redcliffe?
He may be dead already. Or perhaps his luck has changed in the weeks I have been gone.
We should see what's happening in Redcliffe ourselves. I believe that now more than ever.
If nothing else, I am certain you would be welcomed at Castle Redcliffe. The Arlessa is there.
I might be.
She could tell you more than I could.
Alistair, on the other hand. Your friend Sir Henrik is dead. I have something of his.
What? And you have his locket? And a note? Maker's mercy. Thank you for giving me these. I would never have known otherwise.
I dealt with the bandits that killed him.
Thank you. I wonder how many of us have met similar fates on this mad quest.
I should go.
With Henrik gone, I need to return to Redcliffe. Perhaps later I will seek out the scholar his note mentions. But I must go. Thank you again, good sir. You have been most helpful.
You are quite welcome. So I'm thinking for my party, myself, Snorri, Sten, and Zevran. No. Not Zevran. Liliana.
I don't like this place. Why did we come here?
What will happen to us now that the king is dead?
Let those who have sinned
I don't like this place.
forgiven.
Why did we come here?
Spreads across all four corners of the world. Let it rise at last.
It's terrible. So many come to Lothering, seeking refuge, only to find that we can offer little more than prayer. Does the Maker see our plight? Is he moved by this destruction? I apologize. The Maker's plan is too grand for me to fathom, especially at times like this.
That is quite alright. What are those priests chanting exactly?
The Chant of Light. Surely you know it.
I've never heard it sung quite like this.
Perhaps you haven't heard these verses before. The entire chant takes weeks to sing and is only done straight through at the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. Here we can only sing a few verses per week and finish anew each first day.
We can't sing the whole thing in one go. What are you on about, you idiot? Who is in charge here?
The revered mother presides over the chantry and Ser Bryant leads the few Templars guarding us.
Tell me more about the Chant of Light.
When the prophet Andraste was burned by the Magisters, the Maker turned away from his creations. We gain his forgiveness by spreading Andraste's teachings. The Maker will return when the chant is sung from the four corners of the world.
That's some impressive impetus to proselytize. Oh, I guess that's the... Seems like an excuse. How do you even know the Maker exists?
He created this world. Every sunrise is proof of his existence. Every child born shows he loves us still.
I should go.
May the Maker... May the light of the Maker guide your path. When the prophet, we gain his forgiveness.
Aren't you worried about the coming
Darkspawn?
Darkspawn?
We are preparing as we can. And when the revered mother calls on us to leave, we shall. But not before then.
I should go.
May the...
I'm not going to annoy her by questioning the whole spreading influence thing. There's no codex entry. I'm going to go through them all. Okay, so I've got to remember that's there because I will be bringing Leliana back here.
Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
And when the Maker spoke,
What do you wish of me?
fear and ignorance. Let those who cry
Honestly, I figured she was staring at the bookcase for a reason.
Cry
Guess
out
she
for-
wasn't. Alright, let's discuss something personal.
What do you wish of me? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not an option. It is your question, however. Ask what you will.
Why are you still here?
I am here because Flemeth commanded me to aid you. Why? Do you wish me to leave? I can do so if you prefer.
Do you want to leave?
If I wanted to leave, then I would go. I remain, so do not ask such pointless questions.
Wow. Yeah, let's reload that from that solid 10 disapproval. This is why you should save often.
Let those who cry out from the shadows be comforted. Those
Nope.
who seek redemption be delivered.
What do you wish of me? We are hardly alone, so privacy is not... Why? Do you wish me to leave? Then I assume I'll...
Okay, so just asking her that question gets the disapproval. Loss. So that's good to know. Thumbs up. How close is she to leveling? How close am I to leveling? That was a loud noise. I am truly sorry. Could be better. Interesting. Also, she's a higher level than we are. That's great. Fun times.
Out from the shadows be comforted. Let those who
I'm
seek
sorry, I cannot
redemption
talk
be
now.
delivered.
I must feed the holy brazier to ensure the flame never dies.
What is the significance of the brazier?
It represents the flames that burned Andraste herself. Do you know the tale?
Of course, doesn't everyone?
We are all sinners. The fire
gonna
symbolizes
tell me
our
anyway.
hope that forgiveness is possible. Thus, we all serve by feeding its flames.
So if I sin, I should just... Aren't there easier ways to keep a fire going?
Of course. The dwarves have offered us coal and special rocks. Even the Circle of Magi volunteered to provide magical flames. If that isn't irony, I don't know what is. The flame means little without the act of remembering and atoning for our
Not sure
sins.
that is irony. I think I understand, thank you.
Always a pleasure.
I'll leave you alone.
I wish you well.
Right, I'm just going to go up here. I can't. I wanted to be an important person in the chantry.
Let him hear our righteous dedication.
Done and done.
Done and done.
Enduring perseverance.
Ancient elven boots. Heavy armor. So I'm not going to be putting those on anytime soon.
There will be no fighting in here. You've been warned.
I have.
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon
I will investigate everything not nailed down though. Because I get experience when I do.
Will you be making a donation to the chantry, my friend? You look like you have salvaged more of value than most who make it here.
Who are you?
I am the revered mother of this chantry. Traditionally, those who seek my blessing tithe first.
What tithe is acceptable?
Might I suggest 30 silver?
Very well, 30 silver it is.
Thank you, my son. What can I do for you then?
I'm a Grey Warden, I need your help.
A Grey Warden? Here? Oh dear. You put me in a difficult position. You must know that Tairn Loghain declared the Grey Wardens to be outlaws.
So I've heard, but it is Loghain who betrayed the king.
Tairn Loghain? That is as hard for me to believe as his condemnation of the Wardens. There is a price on your head. Lay low, and I promise to keep your presence a secret. That is the best I can do. Now, if there is nothing else?
I was hoping to receive your blessing.
For a Grey Warden? Yes. You have a difficult road to walk, don't you?
I do. Some great people to travel with, though.
In Andraste's name, I call upon the Maker to watch over his child and creation. Watch over his path, O Maker. Give him light, in darkness.
I like how the dog lies down as well.
So let it be.
Such a good boy.
Now, if there is nothing else, I cannot help you without risking the safety of this village and chantry. The best I can do is keep your presence a secret. I am sorry.
That is
now,
correct.
May the make...
Nothing to... Nope. Are these ladders as safe as the ones in the... That ladder is way safer than the ones in the circle. I guess no one cares about health and safety in the circle. Hey, Death. I trust that you're well. Getting excited to move and all that. Alright, anything else on the job board? Nope. Sorry, the chanter's board. Woo! Personally, I hated it, but I don't like breaks in routine, so that's more just personal preference than anything. But it's great that you've got somewhere to live, so there's that. I always feel...
Tell me something, Morrigan. Did you live there in that forest your entire life?
I left it on occasion, but I always returned. Why? Is that so strange? It was my home.
But it was just you and your mother there. No one else.
Mother occasionally had company.
What? Company? Do I even want to ask?
No, you really don't.
She's right. She's right. I don't think Alistair could handle it. Huh.
Why do you always go on about how stupid I am? I'm not stupid, am I?
If you need to ask the question...
Because it hurts my manly feelings, you know. Or one of them.
Then I'll be sure to write you an apology once all of this is over.
I was educated by the Chantry. I studied history. They don't make stupid Templars.
Then I must have been mistaken. I'm very impressed.
No, you're not. You're not even listening to me.
My, you are smarter than you look after all. Your Chantry must have been very proud.
So I believe there are set places on each map that trigger those dialogues. Dialogues between your traveling companions. Obviously at this point I only have the 3, so... Aha! I like how sassy they are. They like, I don't have any choice.
Brother that fell at Ostagar. Hope we're not next.
As if we needed more fighting here. Don't you see how scared everyone is?
Yeah, you don't have a choice at this point who you travel with, so I'm happy that there was a good kind of amusing dynamic between the ones you're forced to have at this point in the game. Oh, it's like, oh, there's Stan.
You got a bed for the night. You taken care of.
Actually, I was more hoping I could help you.
Don't need blades right now. We need beds, food, and an end to all these sad sots. I don't suppose you know anything of tonics, medicines, or herbs.
A bit about herbalism.
Then you may be able to do us a lot of good. All manner of travellers come through, many injured or sick. We do our best, but we're out of supplies. There's medicinal herbs in the woods to the north. If you make a few poultices, I'll scrape together some sort of payment. I'll write all you need to know in this note here.
Sweet recipe. I can see why he'd get on people's nerves. I personally enjoy it, but I can, as I say, see both sides of that coin, so... Just a short bow and a barrel. Why wouldn't there be?
Hello, stranger. I don't suppose you know anyone that can make traps?
What do you need traps for?
Old man Barlin said that Darkspawn may be coming soon. He's got traps on his farm. I figured I'd put a few on my lands. Barlin wants to poison his traps. I just want normal traps.
Barrel bow indeed. Why don't you just buy some?
None to be had. Barlin has all the traps in the village in his fields.
Barlin has poison traps on his land?
He doesn't have any poison yet, he can be a bit.
Sorry, so you can't
Lothering doesn't
actually
have any more beds.
like make traps and then give them after the fact. So I'm going to have to leave her uninteracted with until I've got someone who can make traps, and then come back to do it. The shapeshifter can transform into a giant spider. I believe if you do the speedrun of this, Morrigan's one of the more useful party members because her fly swarm has the fastest movement speed.
Please,
we're planning on running that mine until the last minute. Felaron's orders.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk to the miners over there. Gossip.
Maker's blessing to you. Best be careful. Darkspawn are coming.
Well, that's a fact. That's not gossip.
You might not want to go in. Tavern's full, and those soldiers are being a nuisance.
You seem unhappy.
Is there any reason to be happy? With the king dead, them Darkspawn will overrun Lothering before anyone can organise. You'd think those soldiers could at least run off the bandits. I hear someone gave them what they deserved. Wasn't you, was it?
Actually, yes, that was me.
It was? Hey, everyone! This is the one who drove out those thieving bastards! More will probably come, but it's good to know some justice
Who's
is
around
left here.
to hear that?
Thank you. You might not want to go in. Tavern's full, and those soldiers are being a nuisance.
Ooh, the Doom 2016, because I do enjoy the speed run of that. Why is the tavern full?
Same reason the Chantry's full, packed with people who fled their homes. The tavern keeper's letting folks sleep on the floors, but he can only fit so many. And those soldiers are getting restless.
Tell me about these soldiers.
They're not here to defend us. They were looking for someone before they started drinking. I hear they almost killed a man because they didn't like his face. I wonder if they're deserters from the King's army.
No offense, dude, but this game's like 10 years old. No one's face is great.
Of course. And good luck to you. We could all use some, no?
Please, we came here to get away from the fighting.
How dare you accuse me of thievery? I saw you take the supplies from my car.
I want to go and talk to Stan.
Your grassland eyes are inept. A chastened would never stoop to petty theft.
Let's go and stop this from happening. Oh, I can't take Stan with me because he disapproves of magic.
Marsh folk are all thieves and liars.
Enough! People here are already desperate and frightened. They don't need you two coming to blows.
But what about my food?
I said enough!
You do not seem a refugee. Are you part of the army?
Yes.
Shokke basit isra, marade starit, merade twasit, abana kyun, maras shokra, ananne sam kyun.
So, for people who may not know, if you do know this, I'm truly sorry for repeating what you already know, but I would love to see that. Yes, please. So, obviously, one of the main characters in Dragon Age Inquisition who got his own trailer is the Iron Bull, who is a Kunari with horns. Stan. That is Snorri. Do you see anything interesting? Stan has no horns, as we can see here. This was a mechanical reason due to technical limitations, as in they realized they'd have to widen all the doorways in the game for Stan to get through, so they just removed his horns instead.
You aren't one of my captors. I have nothing to say that would amuse you, elf. Leave me in peace.
You are a prisoner. Who put you here?
I'm in a cage, am I not? I've been placed here by the Chantry. I am Sten of the Beresad, the vanguard of the Kunari peoples.
I'm Reno, pleased to meet you.
You mock me. Or you show manners I have not come to expect in your lands. Though it matters little now, I will die soon enough.
This is a proud and powerful creature, trapped as prey for the Darkspawn. If you cannot see a use for him, I suggest releasing him for mercy's sake alone.
Mercy? I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I would also suggest that Alistair take his place in the cage.
There we go.
Yes, that's what I would have expected.
I suggest you leave me to my fate.
They could have done, but it was also something to do with all the helmets as well that you can put him in. And obviously they'd have to rework the helmets for the horns. Just the doors. I think the doorways were the main reason. But they worked it in as just some Kunari are born without horns, and that gives them a special destiny. What did you do to end up in here?
I have been convicted of murder. Have the villagers not spoken of this?
How long have you been here?
20 days now. I shouldn't last much longer, another week at most.
Capturing you must have been difficult.
There is no difficulty in capturing prey that surrenders.
You didn't resist capture?
I waited for several days until the knights arrived.
Why?
Because I wished to.
Cheers. I'll check that out shortly. I'm going to be wrapping up within like 10 minutes or so, just because I have to meet my partner in town. So, well, I have to leave early because I need to do some shopping first before meeting her in town. What an odd thing to do.
Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret.
Who did you murder?
The people of a farmhold. 8 humans, in addition to the children.
Are you guilty?
Are you asking if I feel guilt or if I am responsible for the deed? However I feel, whatever I've done, my life is forfeit now.
If you feel guilty about the murder, why did you do it?
Either you have an enviable memory
That's
or
not
a pitiable life
what
to
I
know
chose.
nothing of regret.
Aren't you interested in seeking atonement?
Death will be my atonement.
There are other ways to redeem yourself.
Perhaps. What does your wisdom say is equal to my crime?
You could help me defend the land against the Blight.
The Blight? Are you a Grey Warden, then?
Why do you ask?
My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
Would the revered mother let you free?
Perhaps if you told her the Grey Wardens need my assistance. It seems as likely to bring my death as waiting here.
I'll leave you for now.
Farewell, then.
A penitent man left to be torn to pieces by Darkspawn. 'Tis a fine example of the Chantry's mercy, is it not?
Right, we're going free Sten. And then I'll read all the codex stuff that I've left unread. I'll be honest, that was purely for ease of editing later. Well, tomorrow at this point. Or, no, it'd have to be next week. Whenever I do it, anyway.
Yes? What can I do for you now?
You've got a man in a cage. I want to talk about Sten, the Kunari you imprisoned.
It might have been kinder to execute him, but I leave his fate to the Maker. Why does he interest you?
Is there any way I can convince you to release him?
Then his next victims might count you and me as their murderers.
Persuade, lie. I've come to return him to his people. Intimidate. I think you should reconsider that stance now. I was thinking you might release him into my custody.
To defend against the Blight? Perhaps that is a form of atonement. But are you certain you can control him?
If you prefer, I could invoke the right of conscription.
I'm not sure that would help, considering your group's current standing.
That's true. She's got a good point.
But you have convinced me. Here then, take the key to the Kunari's cage and take him away. I pray this is the right path for all our sakes.
Sweet. And if anyone has played this game and is curious about what happens to Stan, you should totally read the comics. I'm not going to say anything for spoiling it for people who haven't played the game, but... And then you have to read one of the books, I think, to find out what happens to Wynne. Liliana's in all three. She's in the promotional material for Inquisition anyway, so that's not really spoiling anything. Oh yeah, the comics are so good, Rain. Also, hi. Unfortunately, I will be wrapping up shortly, but...
Just how smart the bar is supposed to be, anyway. Do you think they understand everything we say?
Yes.
Oh, is that so? You could just be listening to the tone of my voice. You could be an utter moron for all we know. Hey, now. There's nothing saying that a moron can't be cute and adorable. Who's the cute and adorable puppy?
He's a good boy.
Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? That's what the Chantry kept telling me anyhow.
No worries. Well, actually, this is probably a good point to explain. So my partner's stuck in shift patterns at the minute in a job that, you know, is not great. So she works late one week and then finishes at 4 the next week. So I'll be doing like longer streams and on alternating weeks, and then well, it shouldn't be a problem actually after next week anyway. But I generally run D&D for a cafe on Thursdays. That's my paid employment, which is great, but does mean my evenings are a bit screwed up. But so like today, I have to finish early so I can meet my partner in town before the game, so I can eat with her, catch up, and then obviously say bye. Anyway, that's my bit. That's my sub story, rationalising it so that we're all on the same page. To Sten.
You wish something more of me?
I have the key to open your cage.
I confess, I did not think the priestess would part with it.
She agreed to release you into my custody.
So be it. Set me free and I will follow you against the Blight.
I do. It's only minimum wage, and like, it's not enough to live off of, but I get paid to run role-playing events at a cafe. It's pretty sweet. It's very fulfilling work. Very well, I'll let you out.
And so it is done. I will follow you into battle. In doing so, I shall find my atonement.
Oh, you're free to go. No, we're taking Stan. I like how you can say goodbye to... Like, you could just dismiss party members. It's great. Thank you, Stan. Glad to have you with us.
May we proceed? I am eager to be elsewhere.
Understandable, I feel. There we go. Right, now I've got a decision to make. Yeah, I'm lucky enough that my partner makes enough money to support us both, which is why she can't quit her job to, you know, take a break from being ignored by management. And obviously I'm doing this to try and build a community with the hopefully get paid from that, but I know it'll take a while to support us, so living the dream, I guess. Like I love Sten's character, but he doesn't like magic, and I'm a mage, and I'm going to be supporting the mages. But he loves the dog. Anyway, let's head into the inn and then read all of the codex entries. For anyone who likes that, I am.
I heard that he
It is.
something to do with the king's death.
I thought Darkspawn killed the king. That doesn't make any sense.
It's probably political nonsense. We'll be lucky if they don't burn down the entire country fighting over the throne.
Let's just check something. What are the 30 achievements I'm missing? Yeah, all the DLC stuff. Those are not pleasant on the ear. Dalish, so that's all the origin stuff. Across all playthroughs, recruit all party members. What? That's weird. Experience all romances. Experience all possible endings. Romance individuals. That's never going to happen. Maybe I didn't do all the DLC last time I played. Weird. Anyway. Save again, head into the tavern, see what happens there, and do loads of reading. It is a good recipe for conflict, but I don't want to... I want to finish the game with all the companions still in my party. So I might start taking him around once I've got the feast day gifts and his friendship with me is a bit higher.
Well, look what we have here then. I think we've just been blessed.
Uh-oh. Logain's men. This can't be good.
Didn't we spend all morning asking about an elf by this very description, and everyone said they hadn't seen one?
Oh joy.
It seems
there she is.
Gentlemen, surely there's no need for trouble. These are no doubt simply more poor souls seeking refuge.
They're more than that. Now stay out of our way, sister. You protect these traitors, you'll get the same as them.
Unfortunately, I probably won't be romancing Leliana because I've romanced her previously, but she is incredible. What makes you think we're traitors?
Tern Logain claims the Grey Wardens betrayed the king. Or haven't you heard?
Enough talk! Take the warden into custody. Kill this sister and anyone else that gets in your way.
Right. Let's make this quick.
Enemy
oh, okay.
Let's get started.
Let's make this quick! Watch out! Defend yourself! Push them back! Go!
Just gonna heal Alistair.
I never liked this path.
Excellent! Alright, you've won. We surrender.
Good. They've learned their lesson and we can all stop fighting now.
Good, because now we're all covered in blood. Grey Wardens didn't betray King Kaelin, Logain did.
I was there! The turn pulled us out of a trap.
Take a message to Logain.
What do you want to tell him?
The Grey Wardens know what really happened.
I'll tell him right away, now. Thank you.
I apologize for interfering, but I couldn't just sit by and not help.
And who are you anyhow?
Let me introduce myself. I am Liliana, one of the lay sisters of the Chantry here in Lothering. Oh, I was.
I'm Rinal, a pleasure.
They said you were a Grey Warden. I'm surprised you're an elf. But elves must want the Blight defeated as much as humans, no? I know after what happened you will need all the help you can get. That's why I'm coming along.
So I've said, in case you don't know, that you can tell your party members to leave the party. I believe you have to tell her twice that you don't want her help. Once now and then once a bit later on, because she just turns up. I will need help, that's true.
That and the Maker wants me to go with you.
Can you elaborate?
I know that sounds absolutely insane, but it's true. I had a dream. A vision.
More crazy? I thought we were all full up.
Look at the people here. They are lost in their despair, and this darkness, this chaos, will spread. The Maker doesn't want this. What you do, what you are meant to do, is the Maker's work. Let me help.
Very well, I will not turn away help when it is offered.
Perhaps your skull was cracked worse than Mother thought.
Thank you. I appreciate being given this chance. I will not let you down.
Alas, Morrigan.
Blast and damnation.
Indeed.
I don't need 2 mages.
Ow! My bruises are all bruised, no? No?
Alistair's bruises once more are bruised again. Right, time to read some codex entries. Because it's not codices, because there's only the one codex, it's just full of entries. Exactly. This is why I want her. Just have to remember to go back to the one in the Chantry next time I play. Adventures of the Black Fox. Born Lord Remy Vascal in 863 Blessed, the Black Fox was a dashing thief and rogue who went on to inspire so many tales of his exploits that it is nearly impossible to determine today which are true and which are merely fabricated legend. Despite coming from nobility, he has become something of a hero of the common people. His initial exploits involved ridiculing the tyrannical and powerful Lord of Valchevin. Wearing a mask, he would appear in public and disrupt the Lord's plans to the point that the Lord angrily put a huge bounty on the life of this cunning fox, the origin of the nickname, which stuck. That the primary bounty hunter who took the job, Carolee, ended up becoming Remy's lifelong partner in crime, only after nearly killing him several times, is one of the most popular tales told in taverns today. The story is often exaggerated to make Remy appear initially buffoonish, until Carolee becomes so furious at the Black Fox's inexplicable ability to survive, that the cunning Remy gains the upper hand, which impresses Carolee so much that the bounty hunter joins him. After years of terrorizing the Lord's men and foiling his tax collectors, a favourite pastime of Remy's, according to the Orlesian commoners, Remy was supposedly betrayed by his lover Sylvain de Montfort, in some versions of the tale a mage of the circle no less, and captured. After more than a year of torture, Remy was rescued from prison by his compatriots, including a repentant Sylvana, and together they escaped Orlais. In this period of Remy's adventures, he appears almost everywhere in Thedas. As his legend grew, more innkeepers and merchants were happy to claim that the Black Fox had visited their village or establishment and performed some legendary feat. If the tales are to be believed, Remy led the Lord's men on a merry chase. He became embroiled in political intrigue in Navarra, was hunted by the Crows of Antiva, and then kidnapped by a powerful mage in Tevinter. In each situation, Remy escaped death at the last moment, foiled the evildoer, and improved life for the poor and downtrodden. Then, inevitably, he rejoined his band of adventurers and moved on to the next land. His companions, Carolee and Sylvana, the wise dwarf Bolek, and the tempestuous knight Sir Clementis have each spawned their own individual legends over the years. The stories all agree that, at some point, the Black Fox disappeared. He and his fellow adventurers voyaged into the heart of the Orlathan forest, seeking the sunken city of the elves, and never returned. Orlathan. I can't remember how they pronounce it. Many more are the tales that expand on what ultimately happened to them in that forest and postulate on how they could someday be rescued. From The Adventures of the Black Fox by Gaston Guéraud, 911 Dragon. Characters. Olyman Garen has been updated to say he fell ill with a mysterious condition that even magic could not treat. Oh, no, there's still something else. Leliana, in the cloister away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace, and in that stillness I could hear the Maker. A lay sister of the Chantry who can beat the stuffing out of trained mercenaries would be notable enough, but one who also claims to have been sent to fight the Darkspawn by the Maker himself is unusual to say the least. She joined Alistair and Rhiannon in Lothering, insisting that she would prove useful. The only reason I'm taking her over Zevran, apart from the fact you get her so early, is she's a bard, and I'm all about buffing the party. That's probably it. Nope, still someone else. Stan. Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret. The Northern Islands are remote. Lush jungles that harbour cities rumoured to be the most extraordinary ever built. These are the lands of the Qunari, lands that no foreign eyes ever see. Hopefully in Dragon Age 4 we will. Only the stories of the three exalted marchers waged against the giants have reached the south, until the arrival of Sten. The stoic giant in the cage was surely the strangest thing the people of Lothering had ever seen, until the blight struck. The Chastened. I too have my fingers crossed, especially if it's using Anthem's codebase. A true open world would be great, but would take so long to cross without the, the javelins equivalent. Anyway, I think I've read the Chastened Wilders have lived in the Kulkara Wild since the first wars with the Alamari drove them southward a millennium ago. Southward? Southward. According to their own lore, they had always been a forest-dwelling people that adapted quickly to their new home. Game and fish are plentiful in the wetlands, and the Chastened thrived. For a time, they and the hill-dwelling Avars were true threats to the northern lowlands. The Tevinter Imperium had arrived and was hard-pressed to keep back the waves of invasions from the south and the west. The fortress of Ostagar was built specifically to watch for Chastened hordes venturing north of the tree line. It was not until the legendary warrior Hafter soundly defeated the Chastened in the first half of the Divine Age that the question of their ability to contest the lowlands was settled permanently. Today, the Chastened are considered largely peaceful, though their ways are still primitive compared to our own. In the Kulkari Wilds, they live in strange-looking huts built on stilts, or even built into the great treetops. They paint their faces and are split into small tribes ruled by shamans like those amongst the Avars. There are many tales of these shamans having learned their magic from the Witches of the Wilds, witches that inspire as much terror as they do awe and gratitude, even if there is no definitive proof they exist. In particular, the tale of Flemeth, the greatest witch of the wilds, is celebrated amongst all the tribes. While there is no way to know how many there are in the wilds today, few travellers that pass through the forest tell of Chastened eking out an existence even in the frozen wastelands of the far south. One can assume that should the Chastened ever organise themselves once more, we might have reason to fear them here in Ferelden. We ignore them at our peril. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Patrine Chantry Scholar. Right. This is the long slog. The Imperial Chantry. There are those who would tell you that the Chantry is the same everywhere as it is here, that the divine in Val Royeaux reigns supreme in the eyes of the Maker, and that this fact is unquestioned throughout Thedas. Do not believe it. The Maker's second commandment, magic must serve man, not rule over him, never held the same meaning within the ancient Tevinter Imperium as it did elsewhere. The Chantry there interpreted the rule as meaning that mages should never control the minds of other men, and that otherwise their magic should benefit the rulers of men as much as possible. When the clerics of Tevinter altered the Chant of Light to reflect this interpretation of the commandment, the Divine in Val Royeaux ordered the clerics to revert to the original chant. They refused, claiming corruption within Val Royeaux, an argument that grew until, in 487 Towers, the Chantry in Tevinter elected its own legitimate and uncorrupted Divine Valhael, who was not only male, but also happened to be one of the most prominent members of the Tevinter Circle of the Magi. This Black Divine was reviled outside Tevinter, his existence an offence to the Chantry in Val Royeaux. After 4 exalted marches to dislodge these rebels, all that the Chantry in Val Royeaux accomplished was to cement the separation. While most aspects of the Imperial Chantry's teachings are the same, prohibitions against magic have weakened, and male priests have become more prevalent. The Circle of the Magi today rules Tevinter directly, ever since the Archon Nomoran was elected in 734 stormed directly from the ranks of the Enchanters, to great applause from the public. He dispensed with the old rules, forbidding mages from taking part in politics, and within a century, the true rulers within the various imperial houses, the mages, took their places openly within the government. The Imperial Divine is now always drawn from the ranks of the first Enchanters, and operates as Divine and Grand Enchanter both. This is utter heresy to any number of the Chantry outside of Tevinter, a return to the days of the Magisters which brought the Blights down upon us. But it exists, and even though we have left the Tevinter Imperium to the mercies of the dread Kunari, still they have endured. Further confrontation between the Black Divine and our so-called White Divine is inevitable. From Edicts of the Black Divine by Father David of Carinus, 811 Blessed. I assume this is the other one. The Sacred Ashes of Andraste. Only one person witnessed Mafrath's betrayal, Havard the Aegis. Again, I'm not sure if it's a hard G. A childhood friend of Mafarath, he accompanied his chief to the meeting with the Tevinters, not realizing what was planned, when he understood that Mafarath was giving Andraste over to be executed. Havard, unwilling to draw swords against his friend and liege, placed himself between Andraste and the Tevinter soldiers. The Tevinters struck him down, and Mafarath left him for dead. Gravely wounded, Havard made his way to the gates of Minrathos to stop the execution. When he reached it, the terrible deed was already done. The armies on the plains long since dispersed. Havard, cursing his weakness, gathered the earthly remains of Andraste that had been left to the wind and rain, and wept. When his fingers touched the pile of ash, his ears filled with song, and he saw before him a vision of Andraste, dressed in cloth made of starlight. She knelt at his side, saying, "The Maker shall never forget you so long as I remember." The song faded, and the vision with it, and Havard was alone, but his wounds were healed. With new strength, Havard took up the ashes of Our Lady and bore them back to the lands of the Alamari. Fearing that Mafarath's supporters would defile them, Havard took the ashes of Andraste to a secluded place high in the mountains, and there he carved from the living rock an urn to hold them. Time passed, and the whereabouts of the urn faded from memory. Perhaps it was the Maker's will that only the most worthy should find his beloved's final resting place. Now we have only the legends, such as that of the Chevalier Lothaire, who quested to find the urn to save his dying daughter, and either found it in time to cure her, or returned 100 years after her death. The ballads end less than certain on that point. From Thedas, Myths and Legends by Brother Genetivi, and I think I've read about everything else. It's the problem with the way this codex works is you have to kind of really quickly flick so it doesn't register that you've kind of read the entry, but I think that's all of them. So with that being said, tomorrow I should be streaming at the same time as normal. I'll be playing a game called Ormello, if that interests anyone. It's a digital-only board game with role-playing elements. It has a story mode, so that's what I'll be playing. Hopefully, obviously, rather than just a random game. It's got story events and stuff in it, so hopefully it'll be fun. It is a more relaxed game for Feel Good Friday. Next week, I might not be streaming on Tuesday. It depends, but that would only be Hollow Knight and Hades anyway. The what's the word? The tutorial's fun, Rain. I hope you can make it. If not, obviously, it will go up on YouTube afterwards. Yeah, I might not be streaming on Tuesday, but that would just be Hollow Knight and Hades anyway, so hopefully that doesn't upset too many people, but my partner's got the week off work, so we were gonna go out together, and we can get cheap cinema tickets and meals during the week, so that's when we're doing it. But I appreciate everyone who's been here, who's had me on in the background. Thank you to Death, as ever, for hosting, and to everyone who's been talking in chat. Thank you to Progress for following. That brings me to 4 followers needed for affiliate status, so that's pretty hype. I forgot to turn on the follower bar, apparently, so there's the follower goal, so that's something I need to turn on for next time. Anyway, I'll be playing this again next Thursday, as usual. If I see you tomorrow, I guess see you tomorrow. If I don't, have a good one until next time. See you.